Hi everybody, this is Shaylin. I've been asked to create some Building 101 tutorials for you. These are for people who are just getting started building in Landmark, don't really know what they're doing yet, haven't really experimented, and want some quick and dirty tips for how to make some basic things in the game. So we're going to start out, I'm going to show you how to create easy rectangular walls. For this task, I'm assuming that you have a few of the required items, which would be a claim, of course. That's your area that you stake out in the world. The select tool, which you see highlighted here on my hotbar, that is a tool made with Tier 2 materials. So you will have worked and progressed through Tier 2, collected the materials to craft this on a forge. And then I'm also going to want you to have your paint tool. This isn't required, but it's definitely helpful. The paint tool is a Tier 3 tool, so you will have progressed through Tier 3 and crafted this one on the forge as well. The other two tools, the smooth tool and the line tool, aren't really necessary for you to get started building. They'll be a little more advanced for you later on. But I would definitely recommend that you have these tools in your tool set before you start building anything. The ones that come with the game, the add tool, the delete tool, and the heal tool, will allow you to build some things, but the process is awfully tedious until you actually advance and have the select and paint tool. So I'm going to move out here onto my claim. I'm going to start by using the select tool, which is number 6 on my hotbar. It might be different on yours. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a rectangle. You'll see that there are highlighted arrows on this box that I've created. Now I can use those to change the size, and I want to bring that up a little bit, make it a little taller. I'm going to make it more of a box. And then once I have that area selected, I can also use these arrows. This will move it up. I'm going to offset it from the terrain a little bit, and I'm going to move it over a little bit. This is just going to make it easier for me to work with in general. Now where I position it right now doesn't really matter, because I'll show you later that I'm going to actually be able to move this or copy it. So this is just my template. I'm not really using this, I'm not setting this on the terrain exactly where I want it right at the moment anyhow. I can if I want to. Now I want to fill this area in, and I'm going to fill the entire area with a very common material. And the reason I'm going to use this common material is because I'm going to paint over it later. So to fill it in, first I'm going to, because I want to add material to this area, I'm going to select the add tool, which is number 3 for me. I'm going to go to the materials picker over here on my left, over to stone, and I'm just going to select common old dirt. Now you can see when I have the select tool and I mouse it over this area, my selected area, it lights up. I click it and I've just filled the area with dirt. I have a big box of dirt. Yay! I'm going to go back to the select tool, number 6 on my hotbar. And now I need to actually shrink this area by 1 voxel on either side. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to move it in 1. Grab this corner, move it in, grab this corner. And this might be a little easier if I actually jump on top. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move that corner in. You can see I have a 1 voxel outline that I'm creating. Move that corner in as well. Now you see this is my selected area. This area is not selected. Now I'm going to go ahead and I can do one of two things. I can either hit delete on my keyboard, or I can hit number 4 on my hotbar, which is my delete tool, click inside the area, and voila, I've got myself 4 walls. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump out. I'm going to hit escape to deselect that for the moment, because I'm going to select the new area again. hitting 6 on my hotbar, again the selection tool. And this can be a little tricky sometimes. Now I like to run around it to make sure that I have actually selected all the corners, and you can see that I missed one here, so I'm going to click that little arrow and I'm going to pull it over to make sure that the entire area is selected. Alright, the next thing I want to do, because I don't want to have dirt walls, is I'm going to paint these walls. So I'm going to select number 7 on my hotbar. I'm going to go up to my materials picker, and I've decided I want to use a small sandstone brick. Now you can see again when I mouse over this area, it's highlighted with the color that's the same color, primary color of the avatar or the paint tool here. So I'm going to go over, and when I click, you'll see that I've just painted the walls sandstone. I'll hit escape to deselect that tool, because if you don't, I've discovered this, if you leave the paint tool selected as you run around, you're going to actually be painting your terrain. This is something I learned the hard way. So now I've just created 4 walls, very simply. Now when I do paint, it's going to paint both the inside and the outside. If I want to make any changes to that, again, I'm going to use the select tool. Let's say I want this wall to be a different color, or I want my interior walls to be a different color. I'll go ahead and select them, then select the paint tool again, go to the materials picker, and pick something else, and paint. There you go, we've changed that to rough sandstone rather than to a tiled sandstone. Deselect by hitting escape. Now if I wanted to create a door here, I would use my selection tool. I would draw the area that I want to be a door. And then I can just either hit the delete tool, or I can hit number 4 on my hotbar, click and delete that area. Hit escape to deselect it, and there we go. My door's a little short. Let's see, I want to make it a little bigger just so that I actually fit through it. There we go. Now we have this little room. Obviously I've built mine very small. You're going to be building something bigger and grander unless you're making an outhouse. Now let's say I don't actually want this to be sitting right where it is. So I'm going to take my selection tool yet again. I'm going to select the entire area. And once more I'm going to run around and make sure I've got the whole thing selected, and I do. Click on it to make sure it's set. And I'm going to hit Control C, just like I'm working in a word processor. That's going to copy this entire selected area to my clipboard. Now I'm going to hit Control V, and you'll see I can paste this area anywhere I want. I can move through the various ways of moving this selection up and down. You'll see right now I have the up and down areas, so I can set it into the terrain if I want to. If I hit Tab, I'm going through my options here. I can move it side to side, which is very handy, or back and forth. If I hit Shift Tab, then I can rotate. And tabbing through the rotate options, I can turn that around. Let's say I want the door facing me. And I'm going to set that into the terrain a little bit, and I'm going to click to commit. And I have just built a little, well, let's call it an outhouse. I've just built an outhouse. Now this selected area, I can keep it if I want, but I'm going to hit 6 to bring up my selection tool again. And since I don't want to keep this area, but I do want to be able to use it again, I'm going to actually save it as a template. So I'm going to go again over here to my menu. I'm going to go down to the little house, and I'm going to click Create New. And this is going to allow me to name the template. I'm going to name it Little Box without the typo. Click OK, and now I've saved that as a template. I'm going to hit 6 again to bring up the selection tool, and since I don't really want to keep this here on my landscape, I'm going to hit delete. There we go. We have our little box. Now, just like a word processor, if I want to go step back through all of these, since I don't really want that little box on my property, I'm just going to go back through all the steps here, hitting Control Z each time, and you can see I'm undoing everything. Now, some people don't realize you can also Control Y and bring everything back if you want to, step by step. This remembers about 10 steps, so don't overdo it. If you get too far ahead of yourself, you'll find out that you're not going to be able to back out, and you're going to actually have to use your select tool to go through and delete. So the sun is setting here on my little claim, and I hopefully have taught you how to make a rectangular area or rectangular rooms in Landmark. I'll be back with more tutorials soon, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.